Beginning laser project number 10. We are going to take a blank wall tile, ceramic wall tile like this, paint it white, laser engrave it, and make it look something like this. Show you how coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the loft above the shop, and what we're going to be making today are laser engraved tiles using what's called the Nicky Norton white tile method. So why am I dressed like this? Well, you got to start thinking summer. I'm getting close. We're going on a vacation in the Caribbean shortly. There'll be a lot of palm trees like this, and by the way, these coasters are extremely popular if you're looking for something to sell, and I'll get into the whole prep of this and everything in a minute. But getting back to this shirt, this is actually sponsored just a little bit by a company called Summer Everest. And they provided me with a couple of these shirts. They said, go on our website and pick out a couple and we'll send them to you. And well, I did pick out a couple and then I bought a whole bunch more because I'm kind of known for wearing these, what's kind of called a Hawaiian style shirt in the summertime and when we're up at camp and of course when we are on vacation. So there'll be a link in the description on where you can get these. They don't just ship overnight. It takes a while to get them. The cost is reasonable and they're well made. They're comfortable. So take a look at the link. Go check out their website. Now, getting back to these. This is a white tile you would get at your home store, Lowe's or Home Depot or RP Lumber or Menards or whatever home store you got around. It's 4 1/4 inches square, counting these little nubs on here. They call it a 4-inch tile, but it's actually 4 1/4. And it's just a white glazed, and what you do is you put 2 light coats of Rust-Oleum, matte, flat. You can use satin. Gloss doesn't work quite as well, but you want a good quality paint with a high content of titanium dioxide. So, what's up with the titanium dioxide? Well, I got to get into chemistry mode here first. Okay, I had to revert back to my high school thing here in chemistry here, so getting back to geek mode. So, titanium dioxide is what makes white paint white. It's an additive that they put in any white paint or light colored paint will have some titanium dioxide in it. White tends to be the most. You can buy titanium dioxide in bulk by the pound. I think it's about $10 a pound, and you can mix it with alcohol or a PVA glue and you can spray it on that way. If you're only going to do a few of them, this is a good way to go. It's quick. If you still want to use the paint method of use paint gun, if you're going to do a lot of them, you can buy this in quarts too and just thin it down to spray it. So how does this work? How does this work? To get technical, the photocatalytic activity of the titanium dioxide layer consists of a mixture of anatase and rutile. Those two crystallographic forms of titanium dioxide is modified by laser radiation. The layer is thermally modified using a laser, causing a clearly visible surface darkening effect. If you would use an XRD spectra analysis, it would show that there has changed transition from anatase to rutile. So, simple, right? In other words, when you laser engrave this with a diode laser, that white paint burns through the glaze and darkens that titanium dioxide and burns it into the ceramic that's underneath the glaze. So that's putting it in simple terms. So, let me get back to my normal look because these glasses that I wore back in high school, I can't see squat out of them. Okay, back to present world. And somebody I know is going to ask, why would you still have glasses you wore in high school? Well, we were cleaning out my father's house after he passed away. I found them, they had kept them for some reason, so I just kind of hung on to them. But boy, I sure can't see out of those anymore. I see a whole lot different now than I did in 1971. So, okay, we'll get back to these tiles. You will need to take your tile, clean it. Use rubbing alcohol or acetone. Make sure there's no oil or any type of finisher on here or anything. Let it dry. Put 2 coats of spray paint on it. Not heavy, just a nice light coat. I suggest you go, I can't do this right now because I don't have any place to do it. Down in the shop, it's too cold to be painting outdoors, so I'm going to have to, this is a pre-painted one, but I'm just going to give you an overview of what you would do, is put a light coat on this direction, let it flash, that is dry for a minute or whatever, then put another coat on this direction, not heavy, just a nice even coat. Let it dry for 24 hours before you try to laser engrave it. So the next thing you're going to do, and you're going to have to do more than one of these, because first you're going to have to run what's called a Nicky Norton white tile test. It's a grid, and there'll be a light burn file I'll have in the description that you can download to run this test. And I run this test on every one of my lasers, even if I'm not using them for tile, because it's a good benchmark. I have a brand new laser, I'll run this test on it, and let's say 6, 8 months, a year later, well, I wonder if that laser head's starting to get a little weak or something. I'll run this same test, and they're all marked. This one here happens to be for the A9P50 atom stack, which is the one we're going to use here for this demonstration. And I also know what type of paint I use. I use Rust-Oleum paint, because I have tried some other brands. I've tried Valspar. It performs well, but it takes forever to dry. Now, the white paint you get at like Dollar Tree, don't even waste your time. The titanium dioxide content of that is so low that you'll end up with gray instead of black engravings. Also, for the engraving we're going to be doing here, it's just going to be a black and white, just like this. Of course, you can't do color, but it's not going to be a grayscale like you would do with a photograph. That's something I'll do in a future video, because it requires a whole bunch more steps and a whole bunch more experimentation to get your settings down just right. So let me get the laser out here. We'll get one of these set up. We'll do some graphics, and of course I've already burned this, and I'll explain what these little marks are here after I get the laser set up. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do here is bring yourself a test grid. And I will give you some settings when we do this coaster on what to do with a 10-watt laser. Get this blown up here a little bit. Run this just as it is. Everything is already set over here for your cuts and layers. Just run it as it is, and that will be able to tell you what is going to be best for your engrave. Okay, so now we'll get a project set up. First thing we're going to do is make us a tool path here, so we can put our graphic inside the tool path. Grab your square over there, make it any size you want. Our tile measures 4.125 or 4.24, 4.250, 4.250. Do the same in the direction, 4.250. Now we're up here and select that, take this down here to T1, make that our tool path. So our graphic has to be inside of that. Lock my padlock there so don't forget to do that. Now I need to bring in a graphic, and I'm going to grab something out of a library here, or you can bring in any graphic you like. And let's do, oh, that's kind of weird looking there. This skull with toadstools. Got an owl. That one is quite popular, as is this eagle up here. So let's bring this eagle in. We'll add that to the project. And it should be about the right size. So I'll be going to center everything. Highlight everything here. Little bullseye here. That'll center your project. Now I want my project to be in the center of the page. This little cross here, that puts it in the center. I'm working from absolute coordinates. So here's my graphic. And as a line graphic, you take a look at preview, see what that would look like. And it would look like this. It'll take 36 minutes. No, it won't, because I need to change the layer here. Down to one pass. Now I'll take a look at it here. It'll take 12 minutes and 18 seconds as a line engrave. Now I could change this to fill, and give it a whole different look. Now it's going to take 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 43 seconds. Now, if we change that to offset fill, we'll get another look. There's our other look, and it will not actually take that long because the settings up there are not correct. So here's where we're going to need to go to looking at our test tile. And in looking at mine here from this P9 M50, looks like 1250 millimeters per minute at 80% power. So let's make a couple changes here. Make this to 1250. Change this to 80. Now we'll have a little bit different time span here. Now it's at 22 minutes and 43 seconds. But to make this go quick, I'm just going to do the line engrave here on this one, I think. Look at that again. It'll take 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Maybe I will do the offset fill. I'll give a little bit more of a look. Yeah, I like the looks of that a lot better. So now we'll get this set up on the laser. As I mentioned when we were on the computer there and I was getting the graphics set up, I was going off of this chart right here. This is what was done on this laser when it was new. Of course, it's not new now, but I think this should be still pretty close. So there is where I picked my 1250 millimeters per minute, looking across, and then I can look down where I get the nicest, blackest layer without it being brown, because that's actually kind of underdone a little bit. And I don't want it engraved so that it's so deep I've got a ridge. So, you know, you get up here, yeah, that's a nice black color at 250 millimeters per minute, 70% power, but it also cut down into the tile quite a bit, and I don't need that kind of deep engrave. Incidentally, if you have air assist on your laser, don't use it when you're doing this. You'll get a lot better black color if you do not have air assist on. So I need to get my tile set up on here. I've got my tile set in pretty much the center here. Make sure you focus your laser according to whatever brand laser you have. And I'm working from absolute coordinates, but I'm still going to frame this just to make sure here. And I have my laser beam at low power on so that I can tell where it's at as it goes around the perimeter. It looks like it needs to slide down and over just a little bit. Okay, we are ready to go here. I have the laser setting sideways, and I actually got confused. If it would have been turned 90 degrees, it would have made more sense to me about why this wasn't lining up, but I'm at it from a 90-degree angle here. So we'll start, and away we go. And again, this will take 25 minutes, so I'm obviously not going to video that whole engraving process. But we'll let this run. Here's what I have here now is I resized my tool path, that's this red line out here, to 6x8. And I brought in this graphic here, which I'm going to do just a line engrave on and no fill. So you'll be able to see what kind of detail you could get. And if we look here, it'll take 23 minutes and 34 seconds. That was a line engrave. I'm going to use the same settings I used on the offset fill, because that is what's going to give me my best looking black line. So I'll get this set up on the laser and I'll engrave this one. Okay, I've got my 6x8 tile on here, and I'm working again from absolute coordinates in the center of the page. And this, of course, has 2 coats of the white Rust-Oleum paint on it. So we'll take off and get this one started. So there we are. I put my shop shirt back on and I'm going to grab a coat. I'm going to take these outside. And what I'm going to need to do is to clean that paint off with acetone. You could also use denatured alcohol, but I don't have any. I do have acetone, but it is not something I would use indoors. So outside I go into the cold and I'll get these cleaned off. We'll bring them back in and I'll show you how they look. Okay, so I got my cake pan here, and fly swatter is optional. I got a fly in here I'm really trying to catch. So I just take a bunch of these tiles, see how many I can put in here. So I can only get 4 in here at a time. Yeah, I can't even get 4. It was a thought. So we'll start with 2. Of course, you want to have something protect whatever surface you're doing this on. Ideally, you should do this outdoors, but it's raining out there, and I don't want to go out in the rain and try to mess with this. And it's pretty chilly out there. So I'm going to pour enough in here, cover the tiles. So since I'm doing a lot of these, I can afford to use a lot of this. And then all you need is a rag or a towel or something. Find out if this takes the rest of that finish off of the cake pan. It may. You see that paint then just comes right off. So there's a shot of them after they're cleaned up. The eagle we did with the offset fill, and then the "today is going to be awesome." That's all line engraved, and then down in front is an order for a customer of some butterfly coasters. So what do I do with these next? Well, they get a cork backing, but there's a little caveat I need to show you too. You can buy these cork squares on Amazon. They have an adhesive back on them, and they're 4 inches square, and they work ideal for these coasters. Here's one of our palm tree ones here. But something you're going to need to do after you strip these, like I just did here, is set them out on a piece of cardboard for at least 24 hours before you put this backing on. And do not under any circumstances set these on a finished surface, because the acetone or denatured alcohol or whatever solvent you use to dissolve the paint off the front also gets absorbed on the back, and that absorbs right into that ceramic. And if I would lay this down on, let's say, a varnished table or something, it'll blister that varnish right up. So you absolutely want to set these on a piece of cardboard and let them air dry or whatever for a minimum of 24 hours before you would put a backing on them. Okay, this particular tile right here is really more of an off-white than a white, and it has a little bit of a marble design in it. I picked these up on a clearance thing at, I don't know, some home store, but they make some pretty nice little decorations, and you can do a lot of things with this. You could, I don't know that I'd try to grayscale a photograph onto this off-white. I'd want to definitely go with a white tile. But you don't need to be limited by this size either. I've actually taken 12 by 12 white ceramic floor tiles, coated them with paint, and engraved those, and then cleared them off and made some pretty neat little pot trivets with them. So, you know, a little idea of something you could do with your laser if you're going to craft shows or pop-up shows or flea markets or whatever, with some things you could possibly sell. One question I've gotten in the past is, are the dishwasher safe? Well, yes and no. If you put the cork backing on, I don't think I'd be running through the dishwasher. I'd hand wash them. But without the cork backing on, yes, you could put that in a dishwasher. Yes, you could set it out in the sun. No, it will not fade. That is permanent, will not wash off. I mean, it's there. So how does this look? Does it work? Believe it or not, I actually actually used to have hair, complete with ponytail back in the 70s, but a long time ago. And things have changed a little bit now, obviously. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the channel. There'll be a link in the description on where you can download the test file for Nicky Norton White test file grid. I didn't make this up. This is something that is in common use, and if you don't want to go to our website and get it, you Google Nicky Norton White tile method test grid, and you'll find this. It's a lot of places. It's available to download. So, I'm Roger in the loft above the shop. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.